KPFK, you're on the air.
Hello?
Go ahead, you're on the air.
Yes. My name is Dan Alderson, and Jack Vance has been one of my top favorite science fiction writers for about 25 years now. And I wasn't able to listen to all of the program previously, but in part of it, where I was, he remarked that he was unlikely to write any more Magnus Ridolf stories.
I study, I pronounce it. I always pronounce it Rydolph, but nobody else ever does.
Sorry.
That's all right. How would you know?
Right. But one other series of yours that has been one of my favorites that was terminated rather abruptly in the middle, apparently, was as a Demon Princes series. And I wondered if what the situation is with that.
The situation there is that
any plan to
I've been
complete it?
I've been toying with the idea of proceeding with those. I've been waiting until I could get a package deal that some publisher would buy 5 books. In other words, 3 reissues and 2 new novels. And I've had some nibbles, but they didn't come up to the price, or essentially it's an economic matter. In other words, I don't want to work on these 2 novels and then give away the reissue rights in the first 3, and I want all 5 to come out in a kind of a uniform edition. Let me recapitulate. What I want is 3 reissues plus 2 new novels. I want to sell that in a package. And until I can get a proper deal on that, I'll do something else.
Yes, well, I'm sure I speak for many of your fans and hoping that will work out.
Well, I think it will within the near future. I've got the stories plotted, or at least one of them, and anyway, I hope I can get at them. I'm anxious to, too.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. KPFK, you're on the air.
Hello. I'm not really a fan of Jack's at all. I really don't even know who he is.
All right, change the number.
He could be as popular as H.G. Wells, I don't know, but he touched on something that kind of interests me, the subject about how the cultures are kind of like vanishing, and how everything's becoming everything's I don't know, all the same, kind of normal. And I was thinking, people, I think it's in the people where they're all becoming the same kind of a person. There's not any separation anymore as far as their interests. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that may well be.
I kind of see people a conglomerate. People aren't going their separate ways.
Yeah.
Doing an original thing, back in the '60s when the hippie movement came, and there was talk about conformists, non-conformists and people conforming, and it seems like everybody's conforming now. It seems like everybody's trying to do the same thing. It's not
No, I don't think you're quite right there. I think probably that non-conformists flourish when they're economically able to do it. If you're broke or if you're a peasant, you can't afford to be a nonconformist. In conditions of prosperity, you'll find nonconformists. We live in a very prosperous, fortunate society, and we've got lots of nonconformists. In a place like Russia, you won't find very many nonconformists. They're all in the insane asylum in the first place. But in China, you can count the number of nonconformists on the fingers of 3 of your hands.
Yeah, I see your point. You're right. But I just mean, if you decide to do something, where you think you're going to do something on your own, I'm going to get into skiing, or I'd like to get into this, or I'd like to be a musician.
You can do it.
Yeah, of course you can do it, but it just seems like everybody else is doing it also,
Well, yeah, but look at all the choices you have. You have the choice between skiing, music, hang gliding, deep sea diving, sailing. I could go on and talk the rest of the night about the choices you have. Whereas, if you lived in a peasant society, your choices would be, shall I go out and bait a bull, or shall I go out and maybe hunt a deer? Your choices would be so limited.
Right, but in a time where the media wasn't such a big thing, you did these things, and maybe that's all you did. Maybe and I'm sure people still do it. You know, like I'm trying to be a musician myself. You know, and I find it hard just trying to stay tuned in on one thing. But I know you can do it, and I know people do it. But I'm talking about the majority of.
What happens, I think. Excuse me for interrupting you, but I think I anticipate you here. I think when we're confronted with this enormous number of choices. I know I myself, sometimes I don't know what to do with them. If you only have two or three choices, you can make a choice pretty easy.
Right.
But nowadays, we're confronted with these myriad choices. We're kind of awash with the number of things we can do. And we tend to diffuse that, but not quite the word, when you dilute our efforts.
Mm-hmm.
See, probably you want to be a skier and a musician, probably other things. So you don't put any of your energy into one particular thing.
Right.
Sure, well,
You're bombarded by all these different ideas, and if you're always thinking like, well, to be the ideal person, I have to do this, and then, I got to do this, and then I got to do that.
Lots of energy, lots of hours, lots of time.
Right, now that might sound kind of superficial, but basically maybe that's what's happening, and that's where it's at.
All you have to do is work. Work.
Work, try to do all of them.
Either that or concentrate on one of them.
Yeah, right, that's the ideal thing, of course. But I'm just saying, I think we're more swayed into trying to be this everything type person, and that's where I think we're losing.
We're losing
the cultures.
Essentially, I think we're gained, but oh well.
Well, yeah, whatever. Anyway, it was nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
KPFK, you're on the air.
Oh,
Hello.
Well, the callers must be queued up pretty deep tonight. There are two of us in the line, and so we both have some questions that we'd like to ask. Do I have my radio turned to?
You're doing fine. Go ahead.
Okay. You already answered one question about the Kurt Gerson series, so I won't bother with that. I'm kind of interested in the Dying Earth series,
Kugel.
Kugel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One thing that might be nice is many of your names are very hard